Hi, I'm Eileen.
Hi, I'm Ermi.
And today we are talking about the energy updates for 2023. And welcome to the other realm. Okay, so we are at the end of 2022, and I feel that the world is still trying to recover from the whole pandemic. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I think 2022 has been a year that has a lot of disruption. And what we have seen is that there have been wars, there have been a lot of conflict, and there have also been a lot of natural disasters. So this is actually quite in alignment with it being a water tiger year. Because a tiger is, in Chinese astrology, known as a traveling horse. And whenever a traveling horse appears, there will be disruption. We also see that the economy has been ups and downs. Okay, certain industries that we thought were going to recover didn't, and then certain industries actually went into decline. So for example, NFTs, which were very hot at one point in time, and during the tiger year, it kind of started to fade into the background. Okay, of course it might revive next year, but for now it's going to be a little bit tricky. And with all of this that is happening with the economy, people actually start to feel confused, and the disruptive energy of 2022 also caused a lot of people to start to revert to habits of scarcity consciousness. So you become more grabby, and then you start to worry more. But you also swing from one extreme to the other. So for example, during the pandemic, and people were extremely careful. Then, especially in Singapore, the moment things normalize, people go to the other extreme of totally not caring. But if you look at the energy of the water tiger, it's precisely that it makes you exist in a state where you don't necessarily make the best decisions for yourself.
So what's upcoming for 2023, you think?
Okay, so 2023 is the Yin Water Rabbit year. So Yin Water Rabbit, rabbit is not a traveling horse, but it is actually a romance star, and it's called traditionally a peach blossom, a peach blossom year. Okay, because the rabbit is actually a wood element. So water gives birth to wood. So on the surface, things may appear to be more harmonious. Okay. However, energetically, that is likely only on the surface. So it's very unlikely, looking at the current energy, that suddenly when we enter the Yin Water Rabbit year, which starts actually on the 4th of February, 2023, people may seem to reconcile differences, but there will be undercurrents of tension and conflict. It's just that a lot of the conflict maybe go underground. So in the tiger year, where somebody, if they're unhappy with you, let's say if I didn't like you, Eileen, okay, I would confront you, and I'll scream at you, and I would scold you to your face. But in the rabbit year, in the Yin Water Rabbit year, what I might likely do is I will backstab you.
That's worse.
I may not confront you directly, but I may backstab you or might gossip about you. So therefore, in the Yin Water Rabbit year, it is all the more important to cultivate our inner strength.
Okay.
Because if you have inner strength and alertness, then you wouldn't be necessarily affected by all of this. So the Yin Water Rabbit year, being a peach blossom or romance star year, will emphasize a lot on relationships. Okay. So for those that are looking for romance, this is actually a good year to find romance, but you have to be very discerning, because a peach blossom or romance star does not necessarily bring you only good romance. And it's not just romance, it's also sex, by the way. So you could actually have a lot of sex, bad peach blossom or bad romance. Because we're looking at relationships, so people who are in a couple or who are married may want to also be very careful about how they actually communicate in their relationships, because when there is the presence of a romance star like that, the temptation to cheat or the temptation to take certain things for granted can be very strong, and then it can destroy relationships.
Okay, so I guess the water rabbit is great for singles, unless you don't get the bad romance.
Yin Water Rabbit years are also good for industries that deal with entertainment, the arts, and the creative like industries. However, because there is little fire in the year, especially towards the end of the rabbit year, we have to be very careful if you are dabbling in things like the stock market. However, because it being a water and wood year, most masters actually agree that earth and metal industries will actually flourish. So this includes like wellness industries, beauty and skin industries, anything to do with metal, anything to do with earth.
I mean, what's your advice for people going into 2023 in terms of the human consciousness and awareness?
I would say that do practice a lot of self-care because in 2023, anything to do with the blood and the heart might be actually affected because of the lack of fire, and fire governs the heart and the blood. And for people whose charts are actually already weak in the kidneys and the hormonal like systems and so the immune system, you may also want to take care. If your health is not good, then no matter how much you might be practicing your spirituality, you would definitely be distracted. However, in the sort of like rabbit year, it is possible to leverage on the year because it's a harmonious year. Energetically, if you can tap and leverage on that energy of harmony, you can actually bring abundance like into like your life, no matter where like you are. And no matter sort of in what industry or work you are in, be very careful with relationships with friends and at work, and make sure that you draw proper boundaries. So spiritual awareness can help you to draw healthy boundaries with people and to keep those boundaries like as well. Yeah.
And you know what you can do? We have a meditation, endings and beginnings, where you get to release toxic people or habits or mindsets that you might have. And the meditation is only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's shorter than your lunch time and probably longer than your poop time, depending on how long you poop. And also, if you look at our Instagram, if you follow us on Instagram, we also have some sort of like instructions, you know, and inspiration to help you create a list of things that you don't want and to create a list of things that you want so that you can use it in your meditation to be the most effective. So go do that. And also, in 2023, we have a series of amazing things happening. So follow us on our adventure, subscribe, and have a good, happy new year.
Happy New Year! Bye.
Bye.